Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Can you see me? No,
Oh,
not yet.
I can't see you yet.
There we go.
Oh, nice to meet you. You're
Nice to meet you.
appearing
How are you?
you're appearing as and
Apologies. I'm on my assistant's laptop.
It's 2 days since the Daily Telegraph started publishing WhatsApp messages from Matt Hancock's phone, but the former Health Secretary has found time to jump onto a job interview with Soo-yeon Lee, the Vice President of External Affairs at South Korean firm Hansong Consulting.
Oh, okay, nice to meet you. So,
Yeah.
I'm doing good. How about you, sir?
Yeah, not so bad. Not so bad. It's been
Oh.
quite a busy week.
What Mr. Hancock doesn't know is that Hansong Consulting doesn't actually exist. It has no clients, no money and no staff. And Soo-yeon Lee is an undercover reporter. I'm Anthony Barnett, and for many years I've been investigating the financial interest of politicians of all main parties. I was approached by Led by Donkeys to help them conduct an experiment after the recent scandals over MPs and their second jobs. In the middle of a cost of living crisis, when people need their MPs more than ever, would a serving Member of Parliament still consider taking a job furthering the interests of a foreign company on top of their constituency duties? And how much would they want to be paid? It's not against parliamentary rules for an MP to take a second job, or a third, or a fourth job, nor is it against the rules for them to work for a foreign company. And there are no limits on what they can earn and how much time they can spend. And maybe that's the problem. Certainly, a clear majority of the public think it's wrong for serving MPs to also work for a private company. Talk turns to the pandemic.
And we even had curfews.
Yes. Yes. We had a curfew for a while. It didn't work. Well, so these boundary issues, as we called them, was one of the biggest problems that the complications, because when you bring in rules like that at relatively short notice, of course, there are all sorts of complicated rules. There was one day when the Home Secretary was on the radio and asked, okay, so if you can socialize with somebody else in your garden, but you've got to go through the house to get to the garden, are you allowed to go to the loo? I mean, and the answer in law was yes, but you weren't allowed to, quote, linger. Well, what does it mean to linger in the loo? Well, I mean, these sort of boundary issues did become a massive point of contention because they were extremely difficult to set because the state is just has never had such
Exactly.
level of intervention in people's lives.
Mr. Hancock faced widespread criticism for going on "I'm a celebrity, get me out of here." Even Rishi Sunak said he was outraged at that, throwing Hancock out of the Conservative Parliamentary Party.
I've been very clear that I was very disappointed with the decision he made. I think there's lots for us all to be getting on with at this time.
Sunak stripped Hancock of the Tory whip, and the former Health Secretary announced he would be standing down as an MP at the next election. However, Mr. Hancock told us he had time to help our fake company while still a Member of Parliament.
So, the first question is, I have it written down. So, how does it work with you as being a member of parliament? How much time would you be available to give us?
Yeah, so the Parliament sits about half of the year on a very predictable cycle, and obviously when it's sitting, that's my primary responsibility. And when it's not, I also have responsibilities to continue to serve my constituents, but not as intensively. And there are rules specifically to allow for people to have outside experience.
Okay.
It would obviously be very important to follow both the letter and the spirit of those rules. But that's absolutely fine, and I'm quite well used to dealing with that. That is straightforward. So for something like 6 meetings a year, that would not be a problem.
Okay, I mean, but sometimes, like with 6 meetings being in person, you might need to fly out of the country, and one of them is obviously going to be held in South Korea. So we want to make sure that you can make time for it. It might be about a few days in and out. So just wanted to make sure of that. And
yes,
we tell Mr. Hancock we might also need him for one-off meetings and ask him how much he wants to be paid.
Okay, I'll put a note down over here. But apart from that, we may also request one-off meetings as well, because sometimes
Sure.
we need to make the call at the spot for some pressing issues that we like to make at the moment. So in that case,
Yeah.
would you also be available for those as well?
Well, on Zoom, no problem at all.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if it happens in person, then we could work it
Well,
out.
then it's
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
It depends on what you'd be asking for in terms of level of commitment and what we'd agree on that basis. But
Okay.
but in principle, no problem.
So we would like to also talk about arrangement of fees, because
Yeah.
we want to make sure that we pay the right level for the right person.
Yeah.
And so we were wondering, do you have a daily rate at the moment?
I do. Yes, it's 10,000 sterling.
10,000 sterling. Okay, pounds as a daily rate. And just to put note on our one-off meetings, I need to put down a number for hourly rates as well. Do you have any
Right.
hourly rates
Well,
that you have in
we
mind?
could have you get the sense of the level, and we could have a discussion about that.
Okay. I mean, hourly rates, maybe, I mean, do you have any number in mind that you were thinking?
Well, around 1,500.
1,500?
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds about right.
We tell Mr. Hancock we'll be in London this spring and ask him if he can help set up some meetings. He offers to open up his contacts book of business connections for us, but stresses he'll stick by parliamentary rules about approaches to ministers.
Would it be possible for you to set up a meeting? I mean, to help us set up some meetings?
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we'd talk about what you'd be looking for, and but with business contacts, yes.
Business contact. Do you think it'll be possible to set up a couple meetings with anyone in government or officials as well?
It wouldn't be one of the rules until one of the rules as a sitting MP is that I wouldn't be able to directly lobby.
Okay.
I would be able to advise you on who you could approach.
Okay. That sounds
but I
about
wouldn't
right.
be able to do that directly myself.
Then the job interview wraps up.
So
Yeah.
we'll be in touch. So
Yeah. Okay.
sounds good.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Very good to meet you.
Very good to meet you. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
So we had another senior politician interested in joining our International Advisory Board from April. A spokesperson for Matt Hancock said, "This failed attempt at entrapment in fact shows Matt acted within the letter and the spirit of the rules, making it crystal clear from the outset that his parliamentary and constituency duties are his primary responsibility for now. Matt is leaving Parliament at the next election, so it's entirely to be expected that he should have exploratory conversations in the meantime."